Good evening, everyone. I will call this Committee of Adjustment hearing to order. Just before we get started this evening, since we have some people in attendance, I'm just going to go through the committee's protocols for tonight. We have 5 applications for 3 properties we'll be hearing, and following will be the procedures that we'll be following. Just a couple housekeeping rules. If you have cell phones, if you could put them on mute or silent, would be great. And if coming up to make a presentation, please ask questions and addressing them through the chair, not directly to the person that you're asking the question of. The first order of business that we'll go through is to see if any committee members have any conflicts of interest with any of the applications on the agenda this evening. A request will then be made for any deferrals or withdrawals of applications that are on the agenda. If representation is coming in electronically, I will ask them as soon as they come into the meeting to confirm that as they're sitting in kind of a separate electronic video room at the moment. The committee secretary treasurer will then read out each application noted on the agenda with a brief description, staff recommendation, and any correspondence that's been received, or at least a summary of any correspondence that's been received since the writing of the staff report. The applicant or the agent for the applicant will be asked to come forward. If they're here, they can sit at the table in front of us, or we will bring them in online, introduce themselves, and be allotted a short period of time to add any additional comments or details that they wish to add at that time. Members of the committee will then have an opportunity to ask the applicant any questions that they might have, followed by members of the public who wish to speak to an application. Any members of the public who wish to speak to an application will be asked to come forward. There's a podium on the right for that purpose. State your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 10 minutes. And you must present all your questions and comments that are pertinent to the application in that time frame. Likewise, for any online people that have registered, and to my knowledge to date, there is no electronic delegates wishing to speak to applications. Persons making a presentation will not necessarily be allowed to return again to speak to the same application, so please, if you're coming up, include all your questions or comments you have in that 10-minute time frame. Following all comments, the applicant will be afforded some closing comments if desired. The committee will then present a decision in the form of a motion. If a motion will be discussed and voted upon. If a vote is tied, the motion will be defeated and a new motion will be made. If a motion is defeated, new motions will be made until a decision has been reached. Notices of decision will only be provided to those persons that leave their name and address in writing with the Secretary-Treasurer. For those in attendance, there's a sign-in sheet at the back of the room for that purpose. Or for persons that are viewing online, you can email Samantha Yoon, SAMANTHA.Yoon, YEUNG @portcolborne.com, or call 905-835-2600, extension 204, immediately following the hearing, and leave a message with your information. It should also be noted that in order to be kept advised of any possible local planning appeal tribunal hearings, a person must request to be sent a copy of the committee's decision on an application. So that's basically the protocol. So the first order of business will be to ask any committee members if they have any conflicts this evening. Not seeing any. And Gary's still not online? Okay. If he does come in, let me know and I will ask him at that point. So with that, through to...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
You said that you got 10 minutes to speak?
Yes. When the time comes.
Yes. The first 2 items are one item. The application we're dealing with is 3 separate items. We have 30 minutes.
They'll be done together. So with that being said, is there any requests of deferrals or withdrawals from staff or any applicants that are here this evening? Not seeing that. So with that, Madam Secretary, the first application, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our first application for tonight is A14-22-PC. In the matter of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13 as amended, and Section 2.8.12 of the City of Port Colborne Zoning Bylaw 6575-3018 as amended. And in the matter of the lands legally known as Concession 1, Part Lot 2 in the City of Port Colborne, Regional Municipality of Niagara. located in the Hamlet Residential Zone, municipally known as 755 Pleasant Beach Road. And in the matter of an application by the owners Terry and Leah Ann Neeson for relief from the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575-3018, as amended under Section 45 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13, so as to permit the construction of a garage, notwithstanding the following. 1, that a maximum height of 7.3 meters be provided, whereas the maximum height permitted is 6 meters. A notice was circulated to the public and required agencies on May 20th and May 13th, 2022, respectively. As of June 8th and today, the following comments have been received. The fire and engineering and drainage departments had no objection or comments. The Niagara regional staff have no objections to the proposed minor variance. Please note that the comments are summarized for the purpose of this meeting, but a full copy has been sent to the committee and applicant. A copy is available for members of the public by contacting the planning department. Given the information in the planning report, planning staff recommend application A14-22-PC be granted for the following reasons. 1, the application is minor in nature, as the increase in height will not negatively impact the subject parcel or neighboring properties. 2, it is appropriate for the development of the site as it is located in a suitable location and accessory structures are permitted use in the HR zone. 3, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as accessory structures in the HR zone are permitted and the proposal meets the setbacks and lot coverage requirements. 4, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as accessory structures are permitted in the hamlet designation. And that concludes the correspondence of this application.
Thank you. The applicant online? Ah, perfect. Still at the front table? At the side. Sorry, podium on the side, if you will. There's a little red button right in front of that bar there.
Oh, yes.
That one there, just press that so they can hear you online as well. Floor is yours.
My name is Terry Neeson, and I'm at 755 Pleasant Beach Road. I have no further comments based on this application, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Do any committee members have any questions for the applicant? Not seeing any. Is there, Gary's still not there? Is any members of the public wishing to speak to this particular application this evening? Not seeing any. Does anyone have a recommendation? Angie?
I would like to move that application A1422-PC, the lands legally known as Concession 1, Part Lot 2, municipally known as 755 Pleasant Beach Road, be granted for the following reasons. Minor variance application A1422-PC be granted for the following reasons. 1, the application is minor in nature as the increase in height will not negatively impact the subject parcel or neighboring properties. 2, it is appropriate for the development of the site and is located in a suitable location and accessory structures are a permitted use in the HR zone. 3, it is desirable and in compliance with the intent and the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as accessory structures in the HR zone are permitted and the proposal meets the setbacks and lot coverage requirements. 4, is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as accessory structures are permitted in the hamlet designation.
Thank you. Seconder? Donna? Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Be carried. Thank you. There's a 20-day waiting period.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready with the next application, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our next application is B11-22-PC, and in the matter of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13, Section 53-1, and in the matter of the lands legally known as Lot 1 on Plan 784 in the City of Port Colborne, Regional Municipality of Niagara, located in the second density residential zone, municipally known as 41 and 43 Amelia Street. And in the matter of an application by the owner Stanley Homes for a severance under Section 53(1) of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, so as to permit the conveyance of Part 2 having a lot frontage of 18.62 meters along Amelia Street with a total lot area of 319.3 meters squared for an existing semi-detached residential use. Part 1 will retain a lot frontage of 20.79 meters along Amelia Street with a total lot area of 346.8 meters squared for an existing semi-detached residential use. A notice was circulated to the required agencies and the public on June 20th and June 27th, 2022, respectfully. As of today, the following comments have been received. The Fire and Drainage Department had no objection to the application. Given the information in the planning report, planning staff recommend application B11-22-PC be granted for the following reasons. 1, that the applicant provides the Secretary-Treasurer with the deeds in triplicate for the conveyance of the subject parcel or a registrable legal description of the subject parcel, together with a paper copy and electronic copy of the deposited reference plan, if applicable, for use in the issuance of the certificate of consent. 2, that a final certificate fee of $216 payable to the City of Port Colborne is submitted to the Secretary-Treasurer. 3, that all conditions of consent be completed by July 13th, 2024. For the following reasons: 1, the application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the regional official plan, the City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of the zoning bylaw 6575-3018 as amended. And that concludes the correspondence of this application.
Thank you. The applicant here online. You can bring him into the meeting.
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry, it's Dana Stanley from Stanley Homes. I'm away, so I'm hoping the connection is okay where I am.
We can hear you, but you don't have video?
I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. It's just by my phone.
Okay.
I can see you, so I was hoping that you could see me.
There should still be a little video connection port there on the screen that you can connect if you got like an iPhone or a.
I do have an iPhone, and it's not prompting me.
It's okay if you
I
can't.
apologize.
Yeah, if you can't get to it,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. just before you get started, you don't wish to defer or withdraw the application?
No.
Okay.
Defer, withdraw. And I have no other comments other than what was indicated in my application.
Okay, very good. Does any committee members have any questions for the applicant? Not seeing any. Is there any members of the public that wish to speak to this application? Not seeing any.
Both severing the land?
Pardon? This is for Amelia Street.
Oh, sorry.
So I'll take that as a no, and we don't have anyone online. So with that, if there's no additional comments that the applicant wishes to make, do we have a recommendation? Angie again? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. For application B1122-PC, lands legally known as Lot 1 on Plan 784, municipally known as 41 and 43 Amelia Street, that the consent application B1122-PC be granted, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report dated July 8th, 2022, for the following reasons. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Niagara Horseshoe, the regional official plan, City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of the zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended.
Thank you. Seconder, Don? Questions or comments? question?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's not a comment, it's just, or not a question, it's a comment. Very nice build. Very nice build. I went down and looked at it. I'd love to see that kind of infill happening all the time. Really nice, Dana.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey. So with that being said, all those in favor? Be carried. Thank you. Good evening. And Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready, I'm assuming we'll do all three together since we're all pertaining to the same property.
Oops, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So our next application covers 3 applications. So I will be reading through all 3. So for application B10-22-PC, in the matter of the Planning Act RSO 1990 CP 13 Section 53-1, and in the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot 61 and Part Lot 62 on the Plan 4 in the city of Port Colborne, Regional Municipality of Niagara, located in the 2nd Density Residential Zone, municipally known as 747 Fielden Avenue. And in the matter of an application by the owner, Mancini Developments, Inc., for a severance under Section 53(1) of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13, so as to permit the conveyance of Part 2, having a lot frontage of 12 meter along Fielden Avenue with a total lot area of 366 meters squared for a future residential use. Part 1 will retain a lot frontage of 11.418 meters along Fielden Avenue with a total lot area of 348.19 meters squared for an existing detached dwelling. For application A18-22-PC, in the matter of the Planning Act RSO 1990 CP 13 as amended and section 6.3A C D of the City of Port Colborne's zoning bylaw 6575-3018 as amended. And in the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot 61 and 62 on Plan 4 in the City of Port Colborne, Regional Municipality of Niagara, located in the 2nd Density Residential Zone, municipally known as 747 Fielden Avenue. And in the matter of an application by the owner, Mancini Developments, Inc., for the relief from the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575-3018 as amended under Section 45 of the Planning Act RSO 1990 CP 13, so as to permit an existing detached dwelling for the following conditions of a severance application, notwithstanding the following. 1, that a minimum lot area of 348.2 meters squared be permitted, whereas 400 meters squared is required in the R2 zone. 2, that a minimum front yard setback of 6.04 meters be permitted, whereas 6.5 meters is required in the R2 zone. 3, that a minimum lot frontage of 11.42 meters be permitted, whereas 12 meters is required in the R2 zone. And then for application A19-22-PC, in the matter of the Planning Act RSO 1990 CP 13 as amended and section 6.3C of the City of Port Colborne zoning bylaw 6575-3018 as amended. And in the matter of the lands legally known as Lot 61 and 62 on Plan 4 in the City of Port Colborne, Regional Municipality of Niagara, located in the 2nd Density Residential Zone, municipally known as 747 Fielden Avenue. And in the matter of an application by the owner, Mancini Developments, Inc., for relief from the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575-3018 as amended under Section 45 of the Planning Act RSO 1990 CP 13, so as to permit future residential development, notwithstanding the following. That 1, a minimum lot area of 366 meters squared be permitted, whereas 400 meters squared is required in the R2 zone. The 3 notices were circulated to the required agencies and public on June 20th and June 27th of 2022, respectively. Please note that the comments are summarized for the purpose of this meeting, but a full copy have been sent to the committee and applicant. Should any member of the public wish to view them, please contact the planning department. As of today, the following comments for the 3 applications have been received. The Fire and Drainage Department have no objection or comments to the application. Darren Hoover has concerns over the lot's future developments and meeting the zoning bylaw requirements. He has concerns over the information shared in the public notices, has questions regarding fencing on the south side of Part 2, and has concerns over the height of the future development and its impact on the lighting of the chapel. Barry Beck opposes the land severance application, has concerns over drainage in the area, and it has been an ongoing problem for years. He has concerns over their privacy if a house is built on the new lot, and has concerns there would be a lack of green space and overdevelopment on the property. Given the information in the planning report, planning staff recommend application B10-22-PC be granted, subject to the following conditions. 1, that the applicant provides the Secretary-Treasurer with the deeds and triplicate for the conveyance of the subject parcel or a registrable legal description of the subject parcel together with a paper copy and electronic copy of the deposited reference plan, if applicable, for use in the issuance of the certificate of consent. 2, that a final certification fee of $216 payable to the City of Port Colborne is submitted to the Secretary-Treasurer. 3, that the garage and covered deck on Part 1 be removed. 4, that the applicants sign that the City of Port Colborne's standard memorandum of understanding explaining that the development charges and cash in lieu of the dedication of land for park purposes based on an appraisal at the expense of the applicant, wherein the value of the land is to be determined as of the day before the issuance of a building permit, is required prior to the issuance of a building permit pursuant to Section 42 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, as amended. 5, that all conditions of consent be completed by July 13th, 2024. For the following reasons: 1, the application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the regional official plan, the City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of zoning bylaw 657530-18 as amended. Planning staff also recommend application A18-22-PC be granted for the following reasons. 1, the application is minor in nature, as the reduced lot area, front yard, and lot frontage will not negatively impact the subject parcel or any adjacent parcels. 2, it is appropriate for development of the site, as the existing dwelling is located in a suitable location on the site and will have ample amenity space. 3, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as detached dwellings are permitted in the R2 zone, and the proposal meets the setbacks and lot coverage requirements. The proposed lot frontage and front yard intend to ensure that the created lot will be of sufficient size to locate a dwelling. 4, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as detached dwellings are permitted in the urban residential designation. And lastly, planning staff recommend application A19-22-PC be granted for the following reasons. 1, the application is minor in nature, as the reduced lot area will not negatively impact the subject parcel. 2, it is appropriate for development of the site, as the reduced lot area will not restrict the location of a future dwelling on the property. 3, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as detached dwellings are permitted in the R2 zone. And the lot area ensures that the lot will be of suitable size to provide amenity and parking space. 4, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as detached dwellings are permitted in the urban residential designation. And that concludes the correspondence of all 3 applications.
Thank you. The agent for the applicant is online.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Do you also have video? We just have audio at the moment.
We're trying to get that up and going. give us a second, please.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, can you see me now?
We did when you were talking. It's disappeared again, but there we go. So just before you get started, you don't wish to defer or withdraw your application this evening?
No.
So at this point in time, is there anything further you'd like to add with regards to all three applications?
The only thing I'd like to say is that I agree with everything that planning staff has to say regarding the applications. I'd like to also address some of the concerns that the area residents do have. In terms of the drainage and some of the other comments that the church had made.
Feel free to address them now if you like.
Okay, in terms of the drainage, it did go through the supervisor in the Public Works Department. He said he had no issue with it. Generally, you don't provide it at this point. I've been through numerous committee of adjustment meetings, and it is submitted at the time of building permit. It's prepared by a professional engineer, and it is to address the drainage just on the lands, and obviously to minimize any impact on any of the adjacent properties. The Planning Act issue, I'll leave that up to the planners there that distributed the information. The day lighting, and again, my children were baptized in that church. I would never want to do anything to negatively affect anything at that church. So I understand that the lighting, they use the glass lighting for the day masses. My intent would be only to put up a small raised bungalow. I mean, there's one just in that general area, a newer one. It's something along that line. And it will, I mean, it wouldn't even be a normal 2-story height. It'd be a story and a half. So I don't see any issue with that. Again, I'm willing to work with them, but I wouldn't see any issue with a raised bungalow in terms of height or restricting any daylight. Another issue that was raised was about security lighting, that things were stolen there, the copper or whatever items were stolen over last few years, and there is a security light. I mean, I own the property, obviously the existing house there. I don't have any issue with the security lighting. And the fence, I don't intend to put a brand new fence up. There is a chain link fence there. I mean, that's something we can discuss between myself and the church or the priest or whoever is in charge of that at the church. And again, I mentioned drainage for the rear neighbor. A drainage plan would be done by a professional engineer, and mentioned something in his letter about sump pump. I got a sump pump on the existing house there too. It doesn't run that often. to be honest with you. And a new house would require a sump pump as well. I mean, it's part of Ontario Building Code. We would have to provide it. So I think it's you know, if you look at the surrounding land uses, church next door, apartment building across the street, there's some existing R2 in the air next door and in behind. I think it's a nice fit for the area. Right off an Ontario Road, Highway 3. You know, it makes it walkable to obviously the church next door, the Avondale schools. It conforms to the town's official plan, the provincial policy statement. And in terms of the variances, I think they're minor in nature, and I think it meets the 4 tests as outlined by planning staff.
All right, thank you. Do any members have any questions for the applicant this evening? Okay, we could do that. All right. Donna, you don't have anything at this time? Thank you. Is there any members of the public that wish to speak to this application? Sir, if you can just come up to the side, same thing. There's a little button in front. Name and address for the record. And if you will, try to keep your comments regarding the applications. Right, and that, see that square, there should be a red button, it's right in that square bar in front of you. There you go.
There. Can you hear me? Okay, my name is Darwin Hoover. I'm a member of St. John Bosco Parish. I sit on the building committee, and I am a spokesman for them. I'd like to pass a comment to Mr. Mancini. By what he has proposed with a raised bungalow goes a long way to preserving the lighting in the chapel, and I congratulate him for taking that stand. There is also a second item as well. I took a review of the property, and the biggest problem that we have today is affordability. What Mr. Mancini is proposing suits well with the neighborhood and also becomes an affordable housing for a young family or for somebody who's downsizing during retirement. So if that is the case, and we are totally prepared to work with him. So please be advised. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to this application?
I guess you can hear me, eh? Okay, I'm opposed to...
Sorry, just before you start, name and address for the record.
Barry Beck, 20 Wallace Avenue.
Thank you.
My property goes down the whole street to the church from Wallace Avenue. There's almost 2 feet, my property's almost 2 feet in certain sections lower than the property that they're going to build on and what is right now. This is, for me, drainage is going to be a problem. I can't see how they can fix it or stop it, because the drainage, the house always drained underneath the wall that's there into my yard. The water comes out. What green space is there needs to stay there. You can't start putting another house in there. There's no drainage. There isn't going to be any drainage anywhere. I have a, you take away land that's on the house that's there. I understand you're planning to, you guys work all like this. You're going to make that lot smaller than the lot to build on so he can build in the lot. To me, I don't agree that's right. What happens if that person wants to tear down that house and rebuild? Are you going to build a house on a lot that's smaller than what you want or allow to be built under the bylaws? That's my question. I don't want to see the garage. I'm against the whole thing to start with. I don't want the severance to. Then I can understand that everybody, I'm the only one here that's against that. But I don't need another neighbor that I gotta have a problem with. I don't have a problem with one neighbor now that moved in and was gonna do all kinds of work and doesn't keep the property up. few notices have probably been sent to him to clean up, because all of a sudden, once in a year, in the summer, stuff gets trimmed and everything else. This year it's been better, and the person who originally lived in this house was there. I was there when the original person owned it, and there was no problem with anything there at that time, and he never intended on severing the lot. I don't know how to get around this, but I'm against a new house being built there too. I got a pool in the backyard. Basically, it's behind the garage that's there. It's sheltered by that garage, so nobody can see in from the other street. You put another house in, I say the drainage, I don't know, is he gonna build my property up? Can't build my property up to get rid of water. This drainage has been years a problem. It drains all down. It goes down the church property, into my property, goes down to the next property and to the next street. That's where the water flows. That's the natural thing. I got a sub pump in my backyard to get rid of the water that comes in. I got a sub pump in the house too. Everybody has a sub pump in their house, just about. My house I grew up in didn't, because the basement was blasted into the rock. But anyhow, that sub pump is there to get rid of water in the spring, or if you get a year that you get a lot of water, it runs all the time. To say that sub pumps don't run in our area is an understatement, because every house floods in our area and always has. I've had water since I moved into that house. Did things to try to fix it for a while, then something else happens, you get more water, you still get water. That's my main beef, is all that. I know it's not a lot, and I'm the only person against it, but that house was always a double lot. That lot was split between two originally, because of the neighbors, all the original people that were there when I moved in. The original neighbors that lived on the corner of Dykstra's had property through there. They moved the garage over onto their property more to split the property originally for that other house to be built, and then that garage was built on that. I don't know what else I can say. Like I say, I'm lower. They can't fix my problem. And as far as I'm concerned, they can't fix the church's problem either. No matter what, they're just looking to get the house, make sure a house doesn't get too tall. I don't want a house there, period, especially a tall one, but the smaller house, yeah, it's fine. Not fine, but I can see why they're happy with it. The water's still gonna be coming. Nothing's gonna stop the water, into them or into me. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that wishes to speak to this application this evening? You already spoke to the application.
No, I spoke. Oh, no, not to him. I wish to speak to the committee.
Sorry?
I wish to address the committee on the report that I filed.
Yeah, but you already had your time at the podium.
Wait a second.
I said you needed to address all your issues and concerns while you're at the podium.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I did say that.
You said it, but you could also say, Mr. Hoover, we'll give you your chance. Please.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Don't give me 2 minutes. Give me 10 minutes.
Well, I can give you no minutes if you want to be that way. I'll give you 2 minutes.
I apologize for that. Don't start the clock yet. First of all, I get a copy of my report. Indulge me. I am currently suffering from a condition where I will not be speaking very fast. I will also possibly tremor at times and lose my voice. First of all, I wish to express my thanks to Samantha. The courtesy that she showed me her timely supply of information and working with me to review this process is greatly appreciated, Samantha. And again, thank you for everything that you did. If you look at the report, item number, and this is a housekeeping thing, item number 1 was drawn to the attention of Samantha, who resolved it and reissued that application form. Again, thank you, Samantha, for that. Item number 2 is a minor thing, okay, very, very minor, and it was clarified by the planning department in their review of the proposal. Therefore, I recommend that item number 2 of the report that I submitted also be struck from the record, please. Now, if you will bear with me, item 3. Again, it's hard to turn pages with my condition. The severance package. Really, there's nothing on that we have to deal with because it was dealt with by the planning department, and it's to my satisfaction of review. Item 4 is the drainage, and again, we're concerned with that because of the same thing that Barry is experiencing, and I know that it will be addressed at the time of the building permit when a drainage plan will be submitted. That's fair enough, provided that no drainage from the property goes on the adjacent properties. That's basically what a drainage plan says. So, fair enough? Okay. Bear with me. Item 5, and it was great to hear from Mr. Mancini that he has consideration for the lighting in the chapel because it is the only source of lighting to that room. There are no other windows in that area other than on the north side of the chapel. It is an interior room. The left and the right side are accessible by door, and the wall on the south side is the dividing wall between the chapel and the church proper.
If I might interject on that point.
Yes.
The building to the north will not cast a shadow onto the church.
You don't know that.
I do know that. It's simple physics. The sun's always in the south. It's
No,
never
it
in the
isn't.
north.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
No, I get light coming in
So-
on my north side.
You'll get light.
Yes,
You
that's
will not get direct sunlight, so the house will not have no impact on the lighting. If anything, you'll gain light because it will reflect off the house and shine in even more. So with that point, we're not even, don't even go down that path anymore, please, because it's not germane to this application.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Mancini seemed to address it, didn't he?
He did,
Yeah.
and that's at his pleasure to
Okay.
do that.
Yeah.
But it's not germane to this application.
Well, germane or not, I pointed out to you that it's the only source of our light, okay?
Okay, fine.
Okay.
But my point is, sir.
Okay,
the
I got your
application.
point. I have
listen,
your point.
I've given you your 2 minutes already, and I've given you a little bit more.
Please do, because
Now-
the next one is lighting and security.
Again, it has nothing to do with this application. That is the
I
church's
realize
issue.
that. I realize
And
that.
So I'm not gonna,
I'm-
don't even talk about it because it's not pertinent to this application.
Okay,
So, and if you go to the lighting point, the lighting from the church goes onto their property.
That
In
is
fact,
what I- that's
you
what I was
you are in
pointing out.
violation by doing that, by interfering with the neighboring property. So again, don't go there because it's not germane to this application.
Right, Mr. Mancini.
So if you have
already-
additional questions germane to the application, please bring them forward. Otherwise,
No.
your time is over.
My time is over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, let me just say, I realize that a lot of these issues are part of the building code, or the building permit application. Thank you.
Anyone else that wishes to speak to this application this evening? Not seeing any. Angie?
Thank you. Through you, Chair, to staff, I just want to make absolutely sure that everybody understands that issues around drainage, anything having to do with fencing, heights, green space, all of the issues brought forward are really dealt with under site plan control, so that at that point, there are lots of ways of dealing with the situation, correct?
Yeah, I can answer that through you, Mr. Chair, to Member Demery. Yeah, that's correct. Just to make a quick change there. You said site plan control. It'll be through the building permit application. It's not a requirement of the consent process that we need a lot grading plan. All we need to do is make sure that it meets the requirements of the zoning bylaw in terms of lot area and lot frontage, which they haven't in this case and have done the minor variance. So,
I'm particularly concerned with the drainage issues. Just because there's been an opinion that there should be no impact, that really doesn't add up to the fact that there might be an impact. So how does that actually get resolved? Who is it that actually is responsible to make sure that there won't be a drainage impact?
yes, that's a good question again through you, Mr. Chair. We, as part of the building permit process, we require an engineering or a lot grading plan submitted by a certified engineer. So this does have to come from a credible source. It's not like any other sort of building permit for a deck or anything like that. It does need to have some kind of backing to it.
Thank you.
Donna?
Through you, Mr. Turticus. So what you're telling us is, in response to these gentlemen, is that if the grading cannot be done to provide with an appropriate drainage plan so that they can be assured they won't have drainage problems, the building process won't move forward because they won't receive their building permit for this property.
It's through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, that's correct. I have seen it before where I've seen building permits come across my desk and they meet all the zoning requirements and I say, yep, check mark from zoning, and then I send it back to the building department, which they send the grading plan to the engineering department, and then the engineering department holds it up because it doesn't drain properly. I've seen it countless times. So it might be the situation here. It might not be. If our engineering department decides that the lot grading doesn't meet the bylaw, the grading bylaw, then they'll ask for them to change it so that it meets the required bylaw.
And that would be up to Mr. Mancini then to improve the drainage problem if it's fixable.
That's
if
correct.
If it's not fixable, there is no building.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment?
No. As I've said to the previous,
I heard it.
okay.
The city had a problem down there for years and they had to stop doing it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. To the applicant, do you have anything further you'd like to add or comment on at this time?
No.
Sorry, was that a no?
No.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
So with that, is there a recommendation? Don?
I can't hear.
Dash 22 PC be granted for the following reasons. The application's minor nature, as the reduced lot area, front yard, and lot frontage will not negatively impact the subject parcel or any adjacent parcels. It is appropriate for development of the site as the existing dwelling is located in a suitable location on the site and will have ample amenity space. It is desirable in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as detached dwellings are permitted in the R2 zone, and the proposal meets the setbacks and lot coverage requirements. The proposed lot frontage and front yard intend to ensure that the created lot will be of sufficient size to locate a dwelling. It is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, and detached dwellings are permitted in the urban residential designation.
Seconder to that? Angie? Questions or comments? All those in favor? Be carried. For the next application, are you going to do them all, Don?
Do you want me to do them all? Okay, just give me a second here.
You can do them separately or one at a time if you'd like to.
1, 2, okay. Application A1922 PC. The lands legally known as Part Lot 61 and Part Lot 62 on Plan 4, municipally known as 747 Fielding Avenue. The minor variance application A1922 PC to be granted for the following reasons. The application is minor in nature, as the reduced area will not negatively impact the subject parcel, is appropriate for development of the site, as reduced lot area will not restrict the location of a future dwelling on the property. It is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purposes of the area, purpose of the zoning bylaw, as detached dwellings are permitted in the R2 zone, and the lot area ensures that the lot will be of suitable size to provide amenity and parking space. It is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plans, as detached dwellings are permitted in the urban residential designation. Shall I go on to the third one then as well then?
We can do that, since you already started one at a time.
Okay. So that one's finished then? You want-
Seconder?
Oh,
Seconder.
second, sorry.
Any questions or comments on A1922 PC? All those in favor? Carried. And then the last one was the second. B1022.
Application B1022-PC, the lands legally known as Part Lot 61 and Part Lot 62 on Plan 4 and municipally known as 747 Fielden Avenue. The consent application B1022-PC be granted, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report dated July 8, 2022. For the following reasons, the application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the regional official plan, and the City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575-30-18 as amended.
Thank you. Seconder? Any questions or comments? All in favor? Be carried. Thank you. There is a 20-day waiting period for each one of those applications. After that, then you'll be notified that they're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other business? Anyone? No? Can I look for a mover and a seconder of the June 8th Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes? Angie, Donna, questions or comments? All those in favor? Be carried. And I will adjourn this meeting and we'll see you all again next month.